All right, truth seekers, I want to welcome you here tonight to Forbidden Knowledge TV. I'm Roderick Martin, and I'm hosting the show for you tonight, as always, on Tuesday night. We got a great podcast here for you tonight. We're going to talk about symbolism, especially when it comes down to that Christian symbol or the symbol that represents Jesus, the fish symbol. And I'm sure a lot of you have grown up or been around church or pretty much had this particular symbol on your map, on your shirts, or maybe in your house at some point. And let me put it up on the screen so we know what we're talking about, this particular symbol. But one of the things we're going to discuss is it definitely the meaning of Jesus? Does it have a deeper meaning? And actually, where did it come from? Or could people be misled or they think that it represents Jesus? But hey, you know what? It could represent Christianity. But at the end of the day, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to get to the symbolism is, and then I'm going to shock you with something else, something to maybe get you going all through the week being a researcher. So you're going to be like, hey, let me figure this out. So let's start with right now. The symbol we're talking about is the Ichthys, and most people, of course, relate it as the fish. Now, it has a background I'll get into a little bit. It's been around since the 1st century. While some scholars suggest that the symbol may existed early in the 1st or confirmed its appearances in the 2nd century, it's possible early Christians used it in a similar way to other cryptid symbols of that time. And I'm using the word cryptid here. But what I'm going to tell you is we're going to go deep into something tonight. And once again, it's all about you and being open. Your mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. So we're going to do that. It's all about truth versus authority as well. And we're going to get into that because oftentimes we take authority as truth. And there's a lot of people that do that today, whether it's bad authority, bad truths. It could be bad people. It could be pastors. It could be politicians. It could be family members. It is now time for us to explore truth as authority. And this is part of our show tonight as we're going to get down with it. So I want you to get ready, get prepared, because we're going to go deep. I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole that I think that a lot of you are going to be a little surprised at. Let's get ready right after this. All right, so church. Let's go back to the days of church. Let's go back to when we all were in church. And if you are a Christian, then you will go back and relate to some of the things I'm going to talk about. Back in the day, you will see people driving down the street with this particular symbol on the back of their cars. Some of you may have this on your cars. Maybe your parents have this symbol on your car or your truck or whatever. But it doesn't actually always mean what most people think it means when you would see people wearing shirts and things and saying, hey, it is Jesus. Now, I could go and ask my mom and show her this particular symbol. She's in her late 70s, and she will tell me right off the back, Roderick, this is the symbol of Jesus Christ. Most Christians will say that. Now, one of the things about this is that because of authorities, because of how authority and we take authority of truth, oftentimes whatever we're told over time becomes the truth, whether it's the lie or not. Now, I'm not saying it's a bold-faced lie that's what it means. I'm saying we're just going to explore some other options, and we're going to go down another rabbit hole that just may be a little more shocking to anyone else. But as we begin the process, like I said, we're talking about that symbol, the Ichthys, which is what you see right here, or we will call it the actual fish symbol. So you can ask yourself first, and I'll put it in the chat, did you see this symbol as the representation of Jesus Christ? Do you see it, the representation of Jesus Christ? Do you think your family or friends possibly see this as the representation of Jesus Christ? Now, we can do split it in half. We can say it represents Christianity. But why are we getting into this conversation tonight? Well, because I'm going to take you down the history of it. Now, again, this particular symbol goes all the way back to the 20th century. It goes all the way back into time when it came down to who put this together. And it takes us all the way back to the Vatican. It's going to take us to the Vatican. Now, we know the Vatican is the place where all religions start. We know the Vatican controls the world religion. We know that they control the history, they control the secrets, and they have some dark truths that they cover up that they don't want the public people to know. Now, we know out of all religions of it all, Christianity has become one of the most largest practiced religion of the world. And some people call it a cult. Some people call it just another way of life. But at the end of the day, all these things could have been manipulated over time. Now, if we go back into the Vatican, let's start into the Vatican, or we'll go down there. Let's look at the point of the local churches first. We'll go to the local church. And if you've been to a local church, just like I have, then I think we'll be on the same page when it comes down to this. You know, I went to a church where they lay hands on you, where they, professed Jesus Christ as being the Alpha, the Omega, the whole 9 yards. And when it comes to that, it's always great to have, if it's not the actual photo of Christ, then you're going to have some type of symbolism. Now, I go into symbolism for a reason, because every day we don't understand that symbolism is our ancient way of communication. Symbols is the way that man were able to communicate with themselves. And it is the magic, because symbols have magic, and the magic could be either to hide something, or to control, or to magnify, give power. There's all types of symbols out there, but then we're going to go to the one that I think, besides the cross itself, besides the picture itself, then we'll go with the symbol that we're talking about right now. So, church, your church, my church, once again, they symbolize this symbol, and it's one of the greatest things out there. And again, it is in public, in plain sight. But let's now take it to the Vatican, because this is where the connection goes. If you think about the Vatican, and one of the reasons that I want to get with you is this, because the Pope runs the Vatican. The Pope runs everything. And through that, they have special wardrobes that you see right now, the robes, and then they have their headgear. The headgear is called the mitre, or whatever you want to call it, the mitre. And it is worn by the Pope, but it actually is a symbol. It's a historic symbol that represents the beginning, the learning, the institution of the Vatican, but the institution of religion, because this is what they wear. But a lot of people don't know that that connection of the wardrobe signifies exactly what we see. And as we know, the Pope is Catholic. He's not Christian, but yet the Pope influences all of our religions. Now, how do they do that? How is the Catholic religion or the Catholic studies can control the Christianity of things, or the Christians, or the Christian religion itself? They're supposed to be two different separate entities, but yet there are not. And let me prove that to you right now. So when you think about, again, the Pope, we're going to go into what you see, again, as the headdress. I want you to pay close attention to the headgear, the mitre that the Pope is wearing. This is very significant when it comes down to it, because it takes a meaning when it comes down to where we're going with this. Now, right before we go there, I'm just going to give you a good foreshadowing here that there's also the movie The Black Panther. Now, we're going to get back to this. If you remember this scene, and remember Namos, this guy's name, or Namor is his name, just keep that in your mind and wait till I bring that back up and see how did the Black Panther story and some of these other stories ties into maybe the Catholics, maybe ties into Christianity, maybe ties into our history. Yeah, I said it. It may does. Black Panther may send us a message that we don't know, but we're going to discuss that together. And you tell me if I'm right or wrong. Put it in the chat or just get involved with it. But we'll get back to that in a few moments. But let's go back once again to what we're talking about and the headdress and making this quickly. If you go back to the headdress and the symbol of the fish, it goes back to the Pope's actually who they worship, which is Dagon. Dagon is the fish god. Yeah, you heard me say it. Dagon is a fish god. So let me go back through some of the stuff here. So when you look at some of the headdresses here, I want you to pay attention to this, that the headdress that they wear is to represent and to honor Dagon, the fish god. Now, go back into some of the history. Dagon was back seen in Mesopotamia and some of the sculptures where they actually worship this fish god, half fish, half man. As you can see back in some of these pictures, you have the priest, the fish god, Dagon. If you go back to one of these pictures, I want you to look real closely. The fish god and the Pope sitting together. And these are actual paintings that actually from the past that tie this in. Now, I know you might be saying, well, Roderick, why are you showing us this? Well, I'm saying to you, this is a Catholic church. This is a Catholic church, but yet the Christians, which I was Christian, is representing a fish symbol, which is either representing Christianity, but also represent Jesus Christ. It's a fish. But yet we know that the Pope, the Vatican controls all religion. How would they all of a sudden say that we're going to impose that we actually revere Dagon, the fish god? They're not saying Jesus Christ and God. They are worshiping Dagon, the fish god. This is why you see it in real time. And so when you think about it, once again, Dagon is the fish god, and these are all actual photos and photographs that are out there. Now, how shocking can it be? Now, pay attention to what I'm about to show you right now. Pay attention to what I'm going to show you. Once again, this is the headgear of the Pope. Now, back in the day, they had these ornaments on it. You can see the little diamonds and different things. But what if we take this picture and we turn this picture to the side? Now tell me what you see. You see a fish head. It's right there in plain sight. The Pope's hat and headgear is representing Dagon, the fish god, which is the headgear, is what you see. And so therefore, once again, it comes all the way back down to Christianity saying we're going to represent the fish symbol as Jesus Christ and as Jesus, or either Christianity, either which way. So what does that tell you? Or does that have you ask any questions for yourself? Do you want to know how did this happen, or where did they get this from? How did the Pope, Catholics and the Vatican? Well, obviously they claim that they saw the Dagon god, obviously in all the depictions of the pictures that they have met, and this is the god that they learned from. And so the question is Christianity being ruled by the Vatican? Is Christianity being ruled by or dominated by the Pope in the dark secrets that they hold? Although we have all these separate religion, are we all under one power? The power right there. And are they saying this? They don't put it out there, but they're going to put their stuff out there as the Vatican being in control of things. But do they laugh at the Christians? Do they laugh to say, well, here we go? Or, okay, that's fine. Do the Vatican and Pope says Christianity is their religion too? Because oftentimes we hear about it. Now, we already know when the aliens get here, the popes are already saying that they're going to say that the aliens worship Jesus Christ too. So maybe it's still the same story, but where was the disconnect? Where was the disconnect to where we went from the fish symbol all the way to a point to where now there's a whole religious saying this is what it is? But there's some other stuff out here that kind of get a little shocking when it comes down to this. And where that goes to is a tribe. Okay, so we're going to talk about a tribe all the way back in Africa, a tribe back in Africa called the Dogon tribe. Listen to my pronunciation. The Pope, worshiped Dagon, the fish god. And then there was a Dogon tribe in Africa. Now, let me give you a little history about this particular tribe and some of the things that we want to talk about. They're primarily located in Mali, West Africa. The estimated population is around 400,000 or 500,000, 800,000 people. Let me give you a couple of headshots of these people. Here they go. The Dogon tribe. Great looking African people, but they have a history, what I call good truth that's out there that everybody knows, especially in the UFO world, but maybe not in the civilized world. But anyway, their culture is rich in mythology and symbolism. The Dagon tribe is very huge in symbolism, and this is why you see a lot of their headdresses, a lot of the things that they wear, and pretty much. And I know you're saying, Roderick, where does this African tribe have anything to do with the fish god of Christianity and also with the Catholic Church of the popes who actually wears the fish head from there? But I gave you a hint. I gave you a hint of Dogon, Dagon. Okay, I'm not saying they're the same, but let me bring that home for you in just a few moments. But the Dogon tribe is known for astrology and known for what we consider, you hear today, Sirius B. They were the tribe that were able, in spite of the government satellites, in spite of all the scientists that we have today, in spite of everything that you hear, this indigenous tribe, when someone out there went there and found these people, were able to give our scientists direct star constellations to a star system. And they had no computers, no telescopic stuff. They had no real-time machinery and technology. They still were doing their primitive stuff. And they was able to draw on the ground and give them, and from their history saying, we know where a star system is. And then the scientists were able to point the satellites to this and actually find the star system. Now, a lot of people say, well, no, there's no way that they are smart enough to know that. This African tribe, they're smart enough to know where Sirius B and the star constellations and everything else. But there's been many, many books written out there about the science of the Dogon tribe. This is just one of them. There's other books and shows and TV shows that have talked about this African tribe having one of the world's most profound exploration secrets or whatever you want to call it. Now, where did they get the information from? This is where we're getting ready to get deep. If you go look into the history of the Dogon tribe, they worship a fish god, the same fish god. Now, the Dogon tribe has been around long before the popes and everything else. But go and look into their history. They have a god called Nomo. That's his name. Nomo is the Dogon's tribe. And if you go to the movie The Black Panther, remember they tried to give some signal that there's some type of life within the water. You remember this last Black Panther, and the guy who was the leader of the water fish people, his name was Namos. Okay, so all right, Nomos, Namos, whatever. They may didn't want to just use the real name, but maybe they was trying to give us a signal that, wait a minute, Roderick, this Dogon tribe knows about this, but go back to it. Once again, this Dogon tribe been around and they represent their God and who told them, and that's who they said that told them who Sirius B. So from space or whatever, the fish god Nomos told the Dogon tribe exactly the coordination in the stars where Sirius B. And now all of a sudden we go all the way back to the Pope and we go back to the Vatican, and they all are representing the same fish god. Now, okay, I'm just telling you, do your homework. Go back and look at it. The Dagon was the god of the Philistines, okay? This image shows the idol representing the combination of both man and fish. So this went all the way back to the Philistines, all the way back to Mesopotamia, which we already know Africa was before all of that. Now, I'm not saying what I'm trying to say, but maybe I open up some doors tonight. Maybe I'll open up some information for you to begin the process to say, wait a minute, there could be some connectivity a little bit. I can look over in the chat, see what some of you are saying a little bit, but it's moving too fast for me. But at the same time, I'm saying to you, this is interesting enough for you to go do your homework, because oftentimes the authority out there keeps us from understanding the truth. And this is my whole new direction, is to go into symbolism, to give you, and we talked about that already. We talked about some of the 7-Up cans and how the red dot was the lower chakra and how it represents 7 chakras, 7-Up. We spoke about that in some other videos. We talked about this particular siren, which is a symbol from Starbucks. It's not just their whatever, but I'm saying it's not a logo. It's a powerful magic symbol. Why wouldn't the fish symbol all of a sudden was created by the Vatican, passed down to Christianity and said, this is your representation, but yet they wanted to still keep their control within the magic of the symbol and saying, we're not going to tell them the secret, but here we go. And this is how it is. So what do y'all think about that? What do you think about the connectivity of all of that? Because that is one of the things that I just wanted to kind of share with you today. We're not going to be here a long time. I just wanted to kind of see what you guys thought. I hope that you engage in this video, put it in the chat, like it, share it. Tell me your comments, because go and look it up for yourself. You don't have to believe what I just said, but go look up the Dogon tribe. Go look up the Pope. Look up the name of the Dagon god. The only reason I brought up Dagon, I'm like, okay, could the Dagon call his first tribe Dogons? Or maybe he tried to say, my name is Dagon, and they go, oh, well, we're going to say Dogon, and now we're going to name our tribe Dogon. I don't know why there's a correlation between the two, but there is something close enough to be a little fishy, right? Absolutely a little fishy. There is a little fishy to go back and say the Vatican headdress, which is definitely the mitra, is the fish head, because they worship Dagon, the fish god. And then all of a sudden Christianity is worshiping the fish, saying, oh, it's a symbol of Jesus, or it's a symbol of Christianity, but don't even know the fish is tied all the way back to the Vatican, who is Catholic, all the way back to Dagon, the fish god, which is not Jesus Christ. There is not the God that we are talking about, not the God in the Bible that everybody speaks of. They're talking about a fish god. And then you want to take it all the way back to the Dogon. I'm just putting the dots together, who was there in Africa long before the Vatican. And then they already knew stuff that we didn't know were star constellations, because they had met Dagon, the fish god, who told them where everything was. And how did all that stuff from Africa make it all the way over here? And now it is now taken as their truth, and their truth now and the authority is what I'm talking about. That's all I'm saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there for you and everything else. But as we get ready to get out of here, I just want you to know that it is something that you might want to just look into. You might want to just pay attention to and see what's happening. Even if you look up artifacts of the Dogon, artifacts all represent stars. It all represent into the skies and everything else. So these people were on top of it long time ago, is all I'm trying to say, and it's worth you knowing. Now, with that being said, when you're going to go look for those truths, one of the things that I like to talk about all the time is, man, we talk about the hidden truths. And I say this because these are on the website, which is the description is down there in the description. But just to kind of put it up here, the hidden truths actually has all of this stuff that they don't talk about in church. I have it in these books. You can go to the website. It's right there, Why the Big Secret /merch. You can find this stuff about the symbols. You're going to be able to get the hidden truth about secret societies, handshakes, all of these things from the Masonic stuff or Masonry. We talked about the 4 churches where it wasn't the Lord's Supper was not meaning the Jesus Christ story that we've all heard, everything else. the greatest story of all time is in here, and you want to read it and pretty much. But anyway, this is the hidden truths. It's there. We talked about the book of sacred secrets. This is where you're going to get the information that I'm just telling you, because it's not everywhere else. It's hidden in some of these books that we have where you can go. So you can go to the website, get your knowledge, man. Get your knowledge. Make sure you learn. Make sure you get the stuff and study. You don't have to come here for it. It's in there yourself. You have to learn it. All of this stuff here, and pretty much. We talked about the water codes. How water. We did a video on this liquid death. All of this is symbolism. We're going to go deep into this, and so make sure you want to do that as well. And if you want to go and find more videos like this, make sure you go over to my channel as well. That's Roderick Martin. Just go ahead and search in YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do a lot of live streams started next week every day. We're going to talk about a lot of symbolism and everything else. But in the meantime, get your knowledge, man. Get your knowledge. There's a link in the description. Also, you see it here on the screen. And I'm telling you, will not be disappointing. I'm going to leave you with something that I discovered, which was really interesting. And the title of this is called Seek and You Will Find. Okay. This comes all the way back from the Native American. So I want you to kind of listen. It's a parable. And the creators gathered all of the animals and said this. And the creators was telling all the animals that, hey, listen, I want to hide something from the humans until they're ready for it. And the realization, and if they're ready for the realization that they can create their own reality. So the creator told the animals, I want to hide something from the humans. And one of the things is that the realization that they can create their own reality. So the eagle said, hey, give it to me. I'll fly it up to the moon, says the eagle. The creator said, nope, one day they will go to the moon and they'll find it. And then someone else said, how about the ocean, said the Simon. Then she said, nope, they will find it there too. And then he said, I will bury it in the Great Plains, said the buffalo. And then she said, no, they would dig and they'll find it there too. Someone said, put it inside them. This was the wise grandmother mole. And the creator said, done, because it's the last place they will look. In other words, the answers are within us, and we have to look for that. And I explained that to you about the question mark last week, that it's an old ancient symbol, and it was for man to understand that your answer was there, but yet we lost the translation. We now use it on the outside questions, ask the 40 questions. How does this mean? What does that mean? It's not meant for that. It's meant for you, all the answers within you. So you want to have knowledge, though. You got to have your knowledge. So go down, make sure you get that. With that being said, I just want to thank you all. Truth versus Authority. We're going to be doing a little more of it. Make sure you go to the socials. There's a new Instagram. There's a new Twitter. All of that. I'm starting to put some content up. So go ahead and make sure you follow. It may be a little empty right now, but it's coming. But I want you to go ahead and follow it. So make sure you do that as well. If you find value into the show tonight, support the show. Go ahead and like I said, get you some rebellion gear, because the rebellion is on. As you can see, I'm non-compliant, baby. I'm not believing any of this crap anymore. It's all about seeking the truth. I love each and every one of you. I just want you to know that. I'm Roderick Martin. And once again, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. You have to open that mind up, and pretty much. And to my haters, if you're here every week, and I get a lot of you every week hating on me, I just want you to know I can love you, and I still love you, and I don't want to meet you. But I will say, if you're here every week hating on me, you're really a fan, and you're just critical. Well, with that being said, guys, hug someone, make sure you love everyone, because that is what it's all about. We're out of here tonight, and we're done. And with that being said, I will leave you with this promo.